I'm sure we've all had an experience that if we didn't have a GPS, we wouldn't have gotten to our destination. And when you think about it, the GPS has really come a long way. It's on every smartphone, several different apps. It's built into many vehicles these days. And it even warns us of traffic and construction. When I was a kid, I can recall sitting in the back seat of my father's car, and he traveled for work a lot. And in the seat pocket in front of me were several large maps that he would pull out to navigate on long trips. Not so easy then. Well, today on this Feast of the Epiphany, we hear of the Magi, who didn't have a GPS or a map, but a star to lead them to Christ in Bethlehem. And while most of us can find directions to our destination these days, I think that the idea of being guided by a star on the Feast of the Epiphany still speaks to us. Because all of us have been guided by someone or something to that true light, Jesus Christ himself. Perhaps today we can reflect on the presence of the star in our own lives. Something that points us to the presence of Christ. Not necessarily a star in the sky, but whatever it is that helps us to recognize Christ's presence in our lives and the lives of others. For most, our star, that thing that helps us to experience Christ, is not necessarily a thing, but another person. People whose simple faith and trust in God helps us to recognize the reality of God living in the world. Maybe it's someone who was comforting and remained with us during a medical treatment or the death of a loved one. Someone who accepts us and loves us for who God created us to be. Someone who taught us the faith, a priest, a teacher, nun from grammar school, a friend. Someone who just told us, "I'm praying for you." Or someone who was facing death, but their faith in eternal life strengthened our own faith. I'm sure we've all heard about the frightening experience at this past week's Monday Night Football game when Damar Hamlin of the Buffalo Bills collapsed on the field just at the age of 24. And I was struck when I heard that his mother reached out to T. Higgins, the Bengals player who hit him just prior to him going into cardiac arrest. And she told T that she was praying for him. The way people live out their faith in the darkest of moments can be a light for you and for me. We can all think of times when life seemed very dark. Maybe we feel it right now, when the star just seems to be hidden. But someone guided us to the true light of Jesus. Sometimes we get discouraged and need to be reassured by others that things will work out. Because there is hope. Not in the sense that everything will work out how we think it should, but that however it turns out, God is present with us. In many cultures today, it's traditionally the gift-giving day. So perhaps a gift we can give to these stars in our lives is to thank them and hold them up in prayer. But there's also an invitation here for you and for me to be that star, that light that guides others to the perfect light, Christ himself. Each of us is called to be a star in the darkness of our world, pointing the way to God and to his love. How might the Lord be calling you and me in this new year to be that light to others? Can I invite a friend to church with me? Can I reach out to someone who has hurt me, or at least pray for them? Can I share the joys and challenges of being a person of faith with someone whom we love but might not practice? Can I reach out to that person who seems to be struggling at work or at school, or who sits alone every day, and just tell them that I'm praying for them and that they're not alone? Can I reach out to someone whom I know is homebound and struggling with an illness? Can I reach out to that neighbor who recently lost someone they love and assure them that we're here for them? The reality is that we will most likely experience God's callings in the midst of our everyday lives, just as the Magi did in the star, in ordinary places. But will we accept the invitation to follow? As we gather, not in Bethlehem, but here in Mashpee, as a family of faith, united in faith around the world with those at the altar, may we remember that the message of the Epiphany, of these Magi traveling through the night, guided only by a star, is that whatever our darkness, however deep the night, God's light is also there. Even if we are not fully aware of it, His light is there to guide us to that perfect light, which is Jesus Christ.